Chapter 1. Once upon a time, there was a scientist named John who had invented a time machine. John had always been curious about the past, and his biggest wish was to meet his mother who had passed away when he was a child. With his time machine, John set out on a journey to the past. As John arrived at the designated time and place, he saw his mother from a distance. Tears welled up in his eyes as he approached her, but before he could say anything, he was arrested by the local authorities. Apparently, they mistook him for a spy. John tried to explain himself, but the authorities didn't believe him. They thought that he was crazy and had come up with a ridiculous story about a time machine. They locked him up in a cell, and John realized that he had made a terrible mistake. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. John had lost all hope of ever getting out of the prison. He was worried sick about how he would return to his own time. Finally, after several months, John was released, and he quickly made his way back to his time machine. As he tried to set the time machine to his own time, he realized that something was wrong. The machine was not working correctly, and he had no idea how to fix it. John was trapped in the past, and there was no way for him to get back to his own time. Chapter 2. One day, John heard a rumor about another person who had been arrested and claimed to have a time machine. Curious to know more, John decided to investigate and headed to the prison where the person was being held. As he arrived at the prison, John discovered that the person in question was a female scientist named Sarah. John was amazed to see that Sarah had also created a time machine, and he was eager to learn more about her invention. John struck up a conversation with Sarah and was impressed by her intelligence and knowledge of science. As they spoke, John came up with a daring plan to help Sarah escape from the prison and return to her own time. John and Sarah spent many days discussing their escape plan, carefully considering every detail. Finally, the day of the escape arrived. John used his time machine to travel to the past and collect some important equipment while Sarah made a distraction to divert the attention of the guards. With everything in place, John and Sarah made their move. They worked together to overcome the obstacles in their path and finally managed to escape from the prison. Once they were free, John and Sarah used their time machines to travel through different eras and explore the mysteries of time. They became good friends and collaborators, working together to unlock the secrets of the universe. Chapter 3. After traveling through time together, John and Sarah decided that it was time to return to their own time period. However, as they activated their time machines, they both realized that they had made a mistake. John's time machine was set to the year 2023, while Sarah's machine was set to the year 2123. At first, John and Sarah were confused and surprised by the realization that they had come from different time periods. They wondered how they could have missed such a significant detail before. After some discussion, they decided to explore the future together. Sarah explained to John that she had invented the time machine almost 100 years after his time, and that she had been working on it for years before finally succeeding. As they traveled through time, John and Sarah marveled at the changes they saw. They visited different time periods, each with its own unique characteristics and challenges. Eventually, they began to discuss where they should go next. Sarah suggested that they visit a time period that was still shrouded in mystery and uncertainty. John agreed, and they set their time machines for a distant future that no one had ever visited before. As they journeyed through time, John and Sarah discussed their hopes and dreams for the future. They talked about the scientific advancements they wanted to see and the challenges they wanted to overcome. They marveled at the infinite possibilities that lay ahead of them. Finally, they arrived at their destination, a time period that was unlike anything they had ever seen before. As they looked out at the new world before them, John and Sarah knew that their journey through time had only just begun. Chapter 4. As John and Sarah continued to explore the future, they were amazed by the changes they saw in human beings. They encountered people who had been genetically enhanced to be stronger, faster, and smarter than any human being of their time. One day, John came across a group of people playing chess, and he was eager to join in. John was a skilled chess player himself and had always enjoyed the game. However, to his surprise, he found that he was unable to beat any of the players in the group. As they played, John noticed that the group consisted of people who were incredibly intelligent, with minds that worked at lightning speed. He wondered why these people had not yet discovered the secrets of time travel and invented their own time machines. John approached one of the players and asked him about the lack of time travel. The player replied that while they were indeed intelligent and genetically enhanced, they had not yet discovered the technology necessary to travel through time. John was surprised by this response. He had assumed that the people of the future would have already mastered time travel. Chapter 5. John and Sarah were noticed by the intelligent people, who quickly realized that they had come from different times. They were taken into custody and questioned about their origins and their time machines. During the interrogation, the time machine suddenly activated on its own, transporting John and Sarah to another time period. They had now witnessed the machine working independently and began to fear its unpredictable nature. John and Sarah worried that one day, the machine might take them to a dangerous time and place, and then never work again, leaving them stranded. They decided that they needed to find a beautiful and peaceful time period to settle down in, and stop traveling through time using the time machine. Chapter 6. John and Sarah continued their journey through time, searching for the perfect era to call home. They visited many different time periods, each with its own unique beauty and charm. Eventually, they discovered a utopian era where people lived in harmony with nature and technology was used to enhance human well-being. As they settled into their new lives in this idyllic time period, John and Sarah found a sense of belonging and happiness they had never experienced before. They made friends with the locals and learned about the culture, customs, and traditions of their new home. John and Sarah decided to make a pact. They agreed to leave their time machines behind and never use them again. They wanted to build a future together in this perfect era, away from the unpredictable dangers of time travel. As they watched the sun set on their first day in their new home, John and Sarah knew that they had made the right decision. They had found the place where they truly belonged and a community that welcomed them with open arms. Together, they looked forward to a bright and peaceful future, leaving their time-traveling adventures behind.